This guest came to me a couple weeks ago. We did a consultation. She's been unhappy about where she's been going. She's been getting a very, yellow blonde, not what she wants at all. And so she seeked me out, and we're gonna do some beautiful highlighting on her and get rid of as much yellow as possible. Then we're gonna put in some of my hair extensions that will be available on 𝗬𝗓𝒂𝒍𝒊𝒔𝒕. I will be doing the Swan method, which is a hand-tied extension install method that I created, and it's being patented right now. So again, hopefully by the time you watch this, it will be patented. So welcome to my channel, Leda Fazal, where I am a hairstylist at 𝗧𝗢𝗡 Hair Salon, and I also do some vlog stuff. But today we are doing hair. Let's get started. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
All right, let's do it. All right, guys, I'm going to be using Blondoor, and it's gonna be like a 10-12 volume. So I'm gonna keep it low and keep it slow and bring up her highlights at her base. And then towards the end of the process, I am going to take her lightener towards those yellow parts and lighten them up, but I have to be really, really careful because her hair is very, very fragile. So I suggest always don't use a high developer, because if you overlap onto that fragile hair, it's straight up going to damage the hair. So as you guys can see, her hair is fragile. So like I said, I'm mixing up a low volume developer with her lightener. And I'm gonna just stay at her new growth here. A couple things that I always find hairdressers do. Their sectioning is way too thick, and if it's too thick, that developer's never gonna penetrate, and it's never gonna get that hair light. It's gonna be stuck at yellow. The second thing is they don't let them process long enough. Sorry to say it, but some hairstyles have a time crunch, and they're like, all right, she's gotta be rinsed, and then they rely on the toners. Toner is not meant to fix your mistakes. It is the icing on the cake, okay? Because you never want to leave a guest with yellow hair knowing that they're gonna go home and after a few weeks that toner's gonna wear off and they're gonna have yellow under there. So let's get it right the first time, all right? So here's one of my sections, and then I'm going to be doing this a few more times. And by a few, I mean a lot, because I want to try to get rid of as much of this yellow as I can. Because yeah, sure, I could just throw a toner on there, but it's not really going to help her. Make sure that your lightener is always mixed with a scale and according to the package of what it says. So see how I'm dragging down to those little brown pieces here? Okay, that's enough. I don't want to touch anything else right now. I will go back later. But right now, I just want to focus on getting those darker roots highlighted. Okay. Make sure you saturate well, okay? I like Blondoor personally because it doesn't swell on me, so I'm not scared of it bleeding. I will get it right at that root. All right, I'm gonna do 5 million more, and then we'll show you guys what I do next after the foiling. All right, guys, I have her all foiled up. I did kind of like a crown highlight, a 3/4 highlight. I left the back alone because her hair is so fragile. I believe that less is more. We're putting in extensions anyway, so we're gonna let this grow out a little bit more before we put in highlights back here, okay? So look at all these tiny little foils. I want you guys to know that this is very, very important. I took very thin sections because she's gonna lift nice and easy, and I'm not gonna be using any heat, so I'm just gonna be checking on her foils every now and again. When I feel like she's almost to like a nice vanilla blonde, I will be dragging out some of that lightener to the mid shaft and ends that are goldy to lift it, but I have to be super careful because her hair is so fragile. If I put all that lightener in the one foil on top of her yellow hair that's left out, it would snap off in 2 seconds. So I did her highlights, and the more we do this, the better it's gonna be. As her roots grow in, this yellow and breakage is gonna eventually be growing out. So now we've got her on a healthy way, the right way to do her hair. I also did use Fiber Fix, which is a bonder into her lightener for extra protection. I am gonna gloss her. I'm not sure what yet. I never pick out toners until she is completely washed out. And then I take her hair and I look at it and I reevaluate what I need to do. Odds are I'll probably need a couple different toners. After that, we're gonna put in her extensions. All right, you guys, so it's been about 15 minutes or so. I'm gonna check the first foil that I put in and see where we're at. And that's when I'm gonna kind of base off my timing of when I wanna take the lightener further down. Okay, so she's lifting pretty good. This is probably where most people rinse her out, right here at this stage, which is definitely not the stage that we wanna be. So I'm gonna let this sit a little bit longer before I drag out to the ends. So we shall check in probably 10 minutes. Again, I am not gonna put any heat on her whatsoever because A, I don't really like using heat in general, but B, her hair is super fragile and we're not trying to destroy her hair. Okay guys, so she's been sitting about 45, 50 minutes or so. We're doing a low and slow process. I'm not in any rush, she's not in any rush, and that's something that should be said prior to the appointment too. You begin a project and then all of a sudden your client's like, oh, and I have to go to carpool at 3 p.m. Like, you need to know those facts prior to any application, okay? Because being rushed on either end is not a great situation. I don't want to be forced to like use heat or do anything that would mess up this process, all right? So you guys can see she's a lot lighter now at the root. Now I am going in through each foil and I am going to brush a little bit of lightener and 5 volume. Very, very low volume, and try to kick out some of that brassiness without the damage. So, okay, so I went through most of her foils. I still need to go through a little bit more. But what I wanted to do, because she does have a little bit of yellowing here and I didn't want it to be like really light and pretty everywhere else, I'm taking a clay lightener here. I mixed it with a 510 volume, nothing crazy. On a normal basis, this would probably be, you know, obviously nothing to somebody's hair if they were virgin and we were doing a balayage technique. But I'm just gently applying this. Like I said, I was gonna pretty much just leave it alone, but I feel like it just needs a little kiss, okay? We're just kissing it, that's all. We're not going all the way. I'm not going up all the way. Like I said, because we're putting extensions in, I'm just kissing this hair right now. All right, so I have gone through each and every single foil, and then what's outside of her foils, I lightened as well. Again, I'm not gonna let this sit very long because her hair is very fragile, so I did take out the sides already, and I wanted to show you guys what the back looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna put in all over gloss, and I'm actually gonna put this from root to end. She doesn't need a shadow root. I'm gonna just gloss her all over. This formulation might even bump her root just a little bit, which is exactly what I want. Not every formula is gonna work on the same client. So people that, hairstylists especially, that are always like, well, what's the formula? What's the best formula for blonde? Like, it doesn't work like that. Everybody's different. Every hair texture is different. So if I gave you a formula and you used it and you're like, it didn't come out the same, well, it's not. If it's on a level 7 orange, you know what I mean? So anyways, stay with us. We're gonna dry her next, and then extension time. She's dried. All right, guys, so I took her as light as I possibly could. Yes, there is still a little bit yellow on those ends, but you know, she was kind of orangey, and I couldn't risk damaging her hair, all right? So I've got the perfect match of extensions, and we're gonna give her some length now, length and volume. I just want you guys to see she's extremely happy, yeah?
Oh yeah.
She's so with the color. We know that there's still some work that needs to be done, and we're still gonna be super careful and fragile with her, fragilicious with her hair. And let's pop in this weave, the Swan way. All right, guys, so now is the time of cutting. So we've got all this beautiful hair blended if we don't start doing some trimming. We chipped away here, but I'm gonna chip away a little bit more. Look at this sexy girl. Sexy girl. Y'all remember, don't go back and look at her before. Okay, go back and look at her before. Check this out. Check that out. Okay? Yes, this is called the Swan method. And yeah, you can't see where it's in her hair. There is no glue. There's minimal beads. It's my own sewing method that I created. And check out underneath. This is her length. This is her hair. Check this out. How insane is this? Now, we didn't touch the back, remember, because we were trying to grow out her hair. She has a lot of, she had some damage. You know, the coloring is as perfect as we can get it. Still gotta do a little bit of work, but we've come a long way from her beginning process. This was a total of 7-hour process. We highlighted her. We didn't put her under heat, so of course it took, you know, a little longer, which is fine. We didn't want to damage her hair. She's got 2 rows. Check that out. 2 rows. She's got 4 wefts on the top. She's got 5 wefts on the bottom. And this is all going to be available at 𝗬𝗓𝒂𝒍𝒊𝒔𝒕 is my hair. It is custom colored, custom made just for 𝗬𝗓𝒂𝒍𝒊𝒔𝒕. So I searched long and hard, y'all. I searched long and hard for the good hair, and good hair is not as common as you think. Most of the stuff that you find, especially in the US, is going to be processed crappy hair. So this is the good stuff. Make sure that you like this, share this, and subscribe. Say hi to my camera woman. That's Ash. She's been doing all the filming. She didn't know she was signing up to be a videographer when she got this job, but so she gets paid the big bucks. All right, guys. For more transformations, make sure you subscribe. Hit that button, okay? All right, and then in another video, I'm probably gonna go over how to care for extensions, and that's a whole other process, okay? So we will talk about that. She's gonna come in about 7 to 8 weeks. We're going to move up her extensions, and yeah, we'll be good to go. All right, thank you guys for joining.